Hi everyone, in this video I'm going to show the steps that I like to use when painting realistic noses. Although this is a dog nose, I do follow the same steps regardless of the nose that I am painting. And to start with here, I always block in where the nostrils are and if there is a central line. Depending on the light source, you may not be able to see this middle line, but this gives me an area where I can double check the proportions of the nose. This is also why I start working with the nostrils first, because even if someone doesn't have a copy of the reference photo, it's usually very obvious when something of the nose is not right. It might be that one of the nostrils is a little bit too high, maybe the size of those nostrils isn't quite right, but usually it pulls focus to the nose and then distracts from the rest of the painting. So my first priority is to make sure that I've got these main areas in the right place, and then I can move on from there. So the next phase is I then like to work with my base foundation. Regardless of anything that I am painting, fur, feathers, noses, eyes, I do always want to get my base layer correct before I consider any kind of detail. So at this point I am studying my light source. Where there are any bright highlights on the nose, I do want to make sure that I've mapped those in first. Where we're working with acrylics, we've got that luxury that we can layer as often as we needed. There is no limit. And I can of course just put titanium white straight over the top. But I do like to pinpoint the differences between my lights and my darks, get the placement of those correct before I then move on, because that also helps for me to follow my reference photo more accurately. In this specific situation, there were highlights, but they were a little bit more muted. I didn't feel like I needed to pinpoint those initially, so I've gone with a fairly dark base foundation. However, at this stage, that base foundation is a little bit almost streaky. It's not as smooth as I would like. So once that layer is dried, I'll repeat this and then get something that's a little bit more established. I do want to make sure that I've covered up the background colour entirely and that that is not showing through. So once I'm happy with that base foundation, the next stage is where I'm going to start to hint at the placement of some of those highlights. The one thing here that you'll notice is I'm not going to jump into my brightest highlight first. I do want to build up with some midtones and then progress with those values. This helps to just add as much depth as I possibly can. There's no set number of layers. Some noses you might have to only work with 5 or 6 layers. Others that are more detailed have more of a reflection. You might feel you need 10 to 12, even more. It doesn't really matter as long as you are drying those layers at the right point. And this is a big part of the layering process. If you start adding in another layer of wet paint and you're lifting up and exposing more of the layers underneath, you do need to make sure that the layers have been allowed time to dry before you move on. As I'm starting to pinpoint more of these lighter values, you'll see that the shape of the nose is becoming more established. This is very important with anything that we paint. The placement of the highlights and shadows is not random, it follows the underlying bone and muscular structure, or in this situation, how the nose curves over and indicating at that shaping. So where the top portion of the nose is a little bit lighter, this is going to help make the impression that it's the top flat surface that joins onto the bridge of the nose. More of the front surface is a little bit darker, and that's not therefore hitting as much of that direct light source and showing that the angle of that nose curves over to that flat fronted surface. The pinpointing of this is really important, and if I was to lower the highlight here, then I'm going to make the top portion of the nose too wide. If the highlight is too high up, then it's the opposite. The top of the nose is going to look too narrow, and it can make it, again, a very obvious distraction, same as when the nostrils are not in the right place. So both of these areas is something that I want to make sure are correct before I consider any kind of detailing. One of my biggest tips when working up to this stage is that you don't have to worry about mixing the exact colour. Later on, I'm going to be adding a far stronger blue tint to the nose and really boosting that reflection colour. But I've done that completely separate to the foundation process I'm working on. This is a massive advantage when working with acrylics. We can simplify the painting process massively, and if you are an artist who gets very anxious about trying to mix the exact colour of each layer, it would be worth trying the glazing application because it takes that worry out of that entirely. One of the things though when you are working with glazes is that you have to allow the painting time to fully dry before you apply that glaze. I do have a video here on YouTube where I'm talking all about glazing, how they can be used, and demonstrating that on various paintings. If that's of interest, I'll link that video in the description below. One of the other considerations is when I want the colour of a glaze to be very punchy and vibrant, I have to make sure that the layers underneath where that colour is going is bright enough. Because having that highlight in place is therefore going to make the glaze colour have far more of that impact because it's going over something that is lighter. If you put a glaze over a darker colour, you will tint that colour and it will still be visible, but it won't have as much of that colour saturation you may be going for. But again, this is really going to depend on the reference photo and how much of that colour you need to capture. I have a lot of videos here on YouTube where I'm demonstrating more colourful subjects where this layering process is different. The red-eyed tree frog, I've got the green budgie tutorial as well. Both of those would be worth watching if that is something that you're interested in. So now that the bulk of the nose is done, I just want to add in here a portion of the mouth because this makes a very big difference to how the nose looks. Something that I often mention in my real-time tutorials is that we can sometimes overwork an area if we feel like it's not quite right, but we're not really sure what. If we keep on making changes and then feel that it's not getting any better, it might just be that we haven't got the area next to it painted in. And once that's done, it helps to merge everything together. So when I do feel like I'm 90% there, I'll then work on, in this case, the mouth area, the bridge of the nose. Once I've got those values and colours mapped in, then it's easier for me to judge, do I need to make any actual changes? Do I need to enhance my contrast? Should there be a little bit more detail? All of this just is where we're piecing that puzzle together, and when working with a high level of realism, it can help to move through this process more efficiently. And as I have started to work with more of these highlights, getting more of the contrast established in the fur, you can see that the nose now is part of that painting. It may not look like there's as much that needs to be adjusted. However, if at this stage I did feel like the highlights need to be brighter, the colour more intense, an adjustment on the nostril placement, whatever it may be, I know now that I can make that and have the other areas in that I can use to make those worthwhile changes. It is so easy to get too obsessed with one small area when working on little individual parts of the painting. I personally find that it helps with being less overwhelmed. Working on too much of a larger area can be quite daunting, but it also can make it a bit too much of a focal point. So once I do have that 80-90% complete, moving on, I can then better assess, do I now need to make any changes? So I do hope that this video has been useful. If it was, I'd be very grateful if you could give it a like and a thumbs up. It makes a huge difference to my channel. I do also upload a couple of videos to YouTube every week, so if you would like to get notified of that content, then don't forget to hit the subscribe and the bell button. If you have any art related questions, feel free to pop them in the comments. I'm always happy to help if I can. And if you would like to paint along to the real-time version of the German Shepherd tutorial, then I'll link all of the information to that in the description below. I will be uploading another video next week, but as always, thank you so much for watching.